because we want to share successful and not so successful practices that we've done. Okay. Di sini saya nak berkongsi bahawa sebenarnya dalam presentation tak semestinya kita hanya berkongsi benda yang berjaya sahaja. Sometimes it is good for us to share the not so successful stories so that people will know that people won't repeat our mistake. So it is good to actually share the things that doesn't work in your classroom. And also that it can actually spark ideas of others on how to actually better your idea. Okay, so you can present your success and you can also actually include the not so successful stories. All right. And the last one is that when you present, people will know that you are the people in the field. And then when people actually know that you are actually quite good in that field, you will get better network. Right? This is very important, especially as for me as teachers, sebagai seorang guru, pada saya network ini adalah agak penting kerana satu ialah cara kita untuk berkongsi bahan, kedua cara kita untuk berkongsi idea, dan ketiga kadang-kadang kita nak berkongsi nak meluahkan rasa tu, ada orang yang dengar sebab dia sama bidang dan dia melalui benda yang sama kita lalui. Contohnya PDPR ni lah, betapa keserabutan yang berlaku. So when you share things, we know that you are not alone. Alright? Okay, these are the 4 components. Ni 4 komponen yang perlu ada ya di dalam presentation. Tak kisahlah dalam video presentation atau live presentation ataupun di dalam poster presentation. 4 perkara ini perlu ada. Pertama ialah problems atau questions. Issues. Why do you actually start this research? Why do you actually do this research? Why does it matter? Kenapa kita buat benda ni? Apa kepentingan benda ni? So that's the first thing. It can be issue in your classroom. It can be issue in a small classroom atau a unit in the classroom. Mungkin dalam kelas itu ada pelajar-pelajar yang baru masuk ke aliran perdana daripada kelas khas. Contohnya semasa saya dulu di Perth, saya terpaksa mengajar 6 orang pelajar yang just to give you a background, di Australia tiada kelas khas dan tiada kelas aliran perdana. Semua adalah dalam satu kelas. Semua pelajar yang berumur range misalnya budak tahun 1, 7 tahun, tak kisahlah dia autistik ataupun dia ADHD ataupun dia ada apa-apa sindrom spektrum pembelajaran, mereka akan masuk aliran yang sama dengan pelajar lain. Jadi semasa saya di Al-Hidayah, saya mengajar satu set adik-beradik ya, twins. Mereka ada penyakit Duchenne syndrome. Duchenne dystrophy syndrome ini adalah hanya dihidap oleh oleh orang lelaki kerana ia terlibat dengan kromosom. Dan selalunya pesakit-pesakit ini akan hidup paling lama 14 tahun. What's wrong with them ialah mereka punya otot tidak akan regenerate. Okay, once otot itu mati kerana jatuh ataupun kerana terpukul, kerana tersinggung meja, whatever it is, otot itu akan jam dan tidak akan rebuild semula. So that's why it also the brain will die slowly. So I have these 2 in the classroom, and in Australia they have the right to learn. Whatever the syllabus I taught year 3 students, they need to learn the same syllabus as well. So I actually take these 2 people as my study. 2 orang dalam kelas saya lihat sebagai study. Kerana saya melihat benda itu adalah satu permasalahan untuk saya mengajar benda yang sama, syllabus yang sama kepada grup yang sangat berbeza pencapaian IQ. So even though it's just 2 person in the classroom, that can be a problem. Okay, that can be researched. Okay, that can be respondents of research. So remember, it doesn't have to be 30 people. It doesn't have to be 100 people. It doesn't have to be 1,000 people or the whole school population. It can be a small group of people, especially for conferences. Okay, conferences, you can do that. It's just that you need to choose the correct methodology. Okay, you need to choose the right principles of research. Sekiranya 2 orang, boleh tak kita buat quantitative research? Tak boleh. Sekiranya 2 orang, boleh tak kita buat action research? Boleh. So we need to know the methodology that we want to use. Oh, not clear. Yeah. I think it's the fan. Thank you for telling me. Hold on. Sometimes this fan is not so good. Okay, I hope it's the voice is not cracking, it's getting clear. Okay, besides methodology, I'm going to this part here, the methodology. You have to actually know what is your research material or who is going to be your research respondents. You need to actually know this first. You need to actually understand how this material and these people can answer your research question. Okay, jangan kita guna research material yang tidak kena dengan problem kita. So it must be aligned. Okay, so that's quite important. So at the third one is result. Dalam presentation, you need to actually put in your result. What worked, what didn't work, what did you discover, what is the substantial findings that you discover, apa findings you yang mungkin tak sama dengan findings orang sebelum ini. So you have to report that. You have to share your results with others, and then you summarize. Summarize by highlighting your significant findings. And we have to be humble in our own research. We have to actually tell the audience at the end, how can I improve my research? This part of reflection is, for me, quite important, okay, and quite essential, not just to the participants, but to yourself as a researcher. Okay, for me, the reflection can make you not just a better teacher, not just a better researcher, but it will actually improve on how you will do it next time. And when you do that, you are going to do another research that you can present, or better, you can actually write a paper to a journal. All right. Okay. Now, how do we start? Okay, kita dah ada semua sebab you all dah buat abstract kan, and I rasa dah kena hantar abstracts, dah hantar all the documents to the committee. But now, how to start the presentation? How macam mana nak start ni? Adalah benda dia. Okay, so how to start? Okay, first is you have to know your audience. Siapa agaknya yang akan tengok bebelan kita kejap lagi? Adakah budak-budak? Adakah guru-guru? Adakah pensyarah? Adakah CIC Plus? Adakah geng-geng GPNT ataupun KPM? So we have to know who's our audience. Cakap, orang tahu dah maksud dia apa. Ataupun kita guna layman language. Bahasa biasa yang mudah difahami atas semua orang. And kita ingat tak kisahlah dia orang mana, dia daripada bahagian mana, everybody has short attention span. When they have short attention span, you need to actually do your slide properly and practice your slide many times, okay? Okay, the second part is to draft your slide. Okay. How I draft my slide, I usually conteng dulu. I'll take a piece of paper, I conteng apa yang mungkin ada draft dalam slide 1, apa dalam slide 2, dalam slide 3. But usually I use this. This lah. This is going to be the template of my research. And then I'm going to, hold on template of my research. Then I'll isilah, ini baru skeleton, and then I isilah dia punya perut, dia punya otot semua dalam ni kan. So that's what I do, how I do it. I also encourage people to choose appropriate presentation template. Sekarang ni online, even PowerPoint, we have Canva, we have lots of template. Choose an appropriate one, and consider infographics. Why? Because infographics help for us who have short attention span. I'm using us here, not just the kids. We have short attention span too, especially listening to others who are not in our field. Kadang-kadang kita nak cakap macam dengarnya, but with using good infographics, good eye-catching figures and graphs, people will be attracted and people will want to listen to your presentation. Okay. The third one is slide input. You have to remember when you present your in conferences, the paper is meant to be heard. Orang nak dengar you cakap apa, not to read them. Therefore, your slides cannot be, you cannot cut and paste the whole paragraph of abstract of your methodology in your slide, on your slide. Don't do that, okay? You have to actually pick and choose the appropriate ones. It should not be lengthy. It should be short and precise. Okay. I like people who use bullets. Then I know that they have a good the thought, the line of thoughts to clear sebab dia dah point satu. So try to do that. So you have to simplify your thoughts. You have to simplify your ideas and put it on the slide. It's easier said than done. Like I write in the slide, it's not easy to make your thoughts simpler. Therefore, sometimes don't do it last minute. Okay, don't ever do your slide a day before the presentation. Kalau boleh buatlah paling cikai 3 hari sebelum, so that you can sleep on it. Bila bangun balik, baca balik je, this ni tak faham. So you can actually reflect on your own writing. Alright? Please adhere to the time limit. Okay, adhere to time limit. So in this conference, I was told by the committee members, the presentation will take 13 minutes max and 2 minutes Q&A. For me, it's good that you actually put into 10 minutes, buat 10 minit, practice for 10 minutes, so that macam tadi, technical glitch, benda-benda tu kan, kita tak akan ambil masa orang lain, kita tak akan buang masa. So try to do it in 10 minutes. Okay, if 10 minutes presentation, satu slide 2 minit, okay, satu slide 2 minit. So kalau kita hanya perlu sediakan 5 to 7 slides only for the conference. You don't have to go to 24 slides, 10 slides. Tak perlu. Kerana ingat, this one, your paper is meant to be heard, not read. So when you want to present, just put a few things, but you explain properly. Right? Explain properly. Okay. To the next slide. Well, I forgot to tell everyone, I'm not going to take long for this one because I enjoy question and answer session better. So I only give you the core things, but other things that you want to ask later on, you can ask later, okay? All right. Tips, okay, these are the tips of the trade for clear slide presentation. Okay, this is I gather this from the experiences that all of us may do before, and some of my students, my postgraduate students still do, because they ada syndrome, kalau dengan syndrome bolokness. Segala benda nak letak bolok, nak letak semua segala-gala tu ni nak letak dalam tu. So these are the things that I learned. Okay. First is the skeleton of presentation at the beginning. So that's quite important. You have to give your audience a map. What do they expect from your presentation? Okay, macam kono-kono kita nak pergi satu rumah, kita guna Google Map. So you have to have that Google Map so that you know on the way you are going to pass a few things. So this is, for me, is rather important in presentation. So one, you have to have the skeleton of your presentation, okay, or the key points of presentation. Two, fonts. Try to have 2 fonts only, okay, 2 types of fonts only in your presentation. Don't put more than that because it will be hard for people to read, okay. Make sure it's not too small. Make sure that's not too many types of font, as I told you just now, and make sure the fonts are not the difficult fonts to read. Okay, we are not doing bullet journaling, okay? We are just presenting to people. So make sure the fonts are clear. The fonts are actually, they suit to the audience that you want to actually present to. Kalau dengan budak, mungkin presentation di object slide lain. Atau ke budak sekolah menengah lain, sekolah rendah lain, prasekolah lain. The font is different. Untuk orang tua mungkin lain. So you have to actually look through and maybe read through what fonts are quite good. It is better now sebab contoh ya, canva.com ada banyak contoh template yang dah ada font dah. You just use it. And from my reading dekat business news and stuff, Canva and some of this presentation punya software, they do research on what fonts suit with which font. So diorang dah buat research. So kita tak payah buat research tu, kita ikut je dia apa yang dia suggest. Okay, so don't reinvent the wheel. Alright, we are going to visuals now. In your presentation, try to actually include visuals, figures, graphs, all these infographics which are packed with info. Letak aja satu tu, lepas tu kita boleh bercerita tentang what is your what we can talk about it. Alright. However, you have to remember, again, some of the fonts in the graphs can be a bit too small, which is very difficult for people to understand. Therefore, mungkin tak boleh copy and paste sahaja ataupun snipping tool sahaja apa from kita punya paper, from research paper, mungkin kita kena buat balik di dalam PowerPoint. Kerana kalau tak jelas ya kalau kita ambil image sahaja. Videos. Okay. Why I include videos is that some of the research might be at school research and a very small scale research. It will be easier for people to understand your phenomena by showing a video. Video tu jangan lama sangat sebab presentation pun 10 minit kan. Maybe the video is like 30 seconds to 40 seconds video, and clip that video and put it there and tell people, okay, this is the phenomena that I have in class. People susah nak concentrate ataupun kurang orang masuk kelas PDPR, whatever your situation is. Or you can actually do the before and after video. Before, this is the problem. After you've given treatment, this is what happened. So it'll be, the evidence will be more clear and it speaks more word than you have to actually explain. Okay, so videos can be good as well. Again, it depends on how you collect data. For videos, if you actually do observation, if you do observation lah, kebanyakan pemerhatian memang kita terpaksa ambil video kan dalam kualitatif. So you have the video. And ingat, if you are using video, you have to get the consent from the respondents. Kadang-kadang kita banyak lupa benda ni if they are minor, budak kecil, you might have to write a letter to the parents saying that they are part of the research and the video might be used for research purposes. Okay, so you are going for presentation in conferences, it is research purposes. You are not actually making them viral unnecessarily, no. So it's okay to use these videos in conferences. All right. Another tip for clear slide presentation is you need to signpost your presentation. Signpost means you have numbering, you have bulleting, you have slide titles. Jangan letak je semua and kita tak tahu what belongs to what. Sebab kita kena ingat, sebab kadang-kadang ada je yang peserta-peserta masuk di tengah-tengah presentation kita. Kalau kita tak ada tajuk, tak ada nombor, tak ada bullet, dia macam lost. Okay, so presentation is key. When people look at it at one time, they will actually absorb, oh dia nak cakap pasal benda ni. So without actually having to tell them all over again, they actually can get it. Okay, they can get it by looking at the slide titles. Okay, avoid distracting animations. Okay, I always get this with my postgraduates from abroad, especially from Africa. Okay, yeah, African region lah. Diorang selalu suka guna animation yang gerak-gerak. You know, it's just it's not really good in academic presentation. So try to avoid animations like this, because they will actually sidetrack what you try to present. Orang tengah present kat sini, dia sibuk dah tengok the animation kat sini. So you need to actually control that by not using distracting animations. All right. Try to actually proofread or ask somebody else to proofread, or you can ask, because it's simple. Sometimes the sentences is simple. Even your child or your children can look for errors, especially as typos and glaring errors. Why? Because kat sini mungkin banyak cikgu cikgu kan, kita ni kadang-kadang dengan darah cikgu kan, kita suka macam alah salah, you know, and then kita terbuai dengan kesalahan itu tanpa mendengar benda lain. You know, I'm like that too. Sometimes salah, dia salah je. Macam mana research ni? You know, it's very bad for me to do that. I try to block. Okay, dah nampak salah tu, jangan tengok lagi lama-lama, jangan stare the mistake. I try to do that. But it's, since we are teachers, since we are researchers, try to not do all these glaring errors, the typos, okay? Especially when you're doing posters, sebab posters you akan print kan, bila you print, kalau benda tu salah, you kena ambil stiker lah, print balik lah, oh lecehnya. Sedangkan benda tu kita dah boleh atasi awal-awal. So make sure other people can proofread your work. Alright? Okay. Any questions so far? I'm just going to look at questions if there's any. Sekejap ya. I'll look at the chat. Ada tak soalan untuk saya, Farah, ke? Tak ada? Sekejap ya. Okay. Saya baca soalan Nazihah ya. Nazihah. Untuk presentation untuk conferences, selalunya concept paper is actually allowed. Concept paper is that you haven't gone through your research process yet. You belum ada data collection je. You dah ada chapter 1, 2, 3. But your theoretical basis tu kena strong. Kenapa you guna benda ni, kenapa all the whys of the theories tu kena kukuh lah untuk kita present. And usually kalau this type of papers, people will actually look at your theoretical framework. So what is the basis of your research? For masters and PhD students who are in here, you have to remember, especially PhD student lah, PhD student kalau ada, theoretical framework tu, the theoretical framework itself is actually a huge contribution to body of knowledge. It can be a very significant input, okay, to your research and to other researchers as well. So you need to present it, you need to share. Sebab kalau selalunya dalam PhD ni kita tak guna satu teori sahaja untuk menjelaskan fenomena yang kita ada dalam bilik darjah kita. Terutama sekali zaman COVID ni kan, when we have COVID semesters, we cannot just use one constructivism. We cannot just use I+1 theory by PAG only. Tak boleh. We have to combine a few in order for us to make sure that it is a sound framework in the COVID semesters. Okay, hence you are you can actually present your theoretical framework. Alright? Ada lagi soalan tak? Farah, kalau ada termis soalan, you cover deh.
Okay, beres.
Okay, sebenarnya kalau action research tu lagi susah kalau nak buat ni. Oh ni Naziha juga. Action research lagi susah kalau you nak present kalau tak ada data, sebab action research it has to be a full cycle. At least you have done at least 3 cycles to make sure that we know that you are doing something. Kalau that is just hypothesis, so macam susah. So kalau action research, it doesn't have to be complete 4 cycles. It can be 3 steps you can present. Alright. How long is a slideshow? Okay. This is from Dr. Zia. The slideshow really depends on how my slideshow. Kalau my slideshow lagi 2 dah habis. Tapi kalau the conference, usually it depends on the time limitation given by the committee. In this case, 13 minutes, 1-3, and 2 minutes question and answer. Alright. Okay.
There's a question daripada Nurul Idayu. Dia tanya, Dr. Azhar, skeleton tu boleh letak di first slide or second slide? And buat lebih kurang macam isi kandungan presentation kita ke?
Okay. Skeleton tu sebenarnya macam nilai Dayu. Saya tunjuk yang awal ni. Skeleton itu rupanya, pergi ku. Inilah skeleton. Skeleton is actually the table of content, a map, a roadmap apa kita akan buat. Okay. So yang ni saya dah buat, yang ni saya dah buat. Okay, saya dekat sini. Alright, so we are, that's the skeleton. I mean, so satu slide je, you tak tunjuk apa you akan present. Tetapi dekat dalam poster tak perlulah, sebab dalam poster you kena jelas lah, bab ni kena jelas. Mungkin the font might be a bit bigger if it's in the poster. Alright. Okay, ada lagi soalan? Ya? Check, mana dia check tadi? Yeah, oral presentation is paper. Yes, Shazwani. Oral presentation is you are presenting the paper that you have written. So the paper is actually somewhere else, telah dibukukan atau telah dipublish di jurnal mana-mana, Scopus Journal. Tetapi presentation ini adalah gist kepada apa yang kita letak dalam kertas tu. Okay, so just highlight the important and interesting things sahaja. Tak payah bawa banyak-banyak benda lain lah, sebab paper kita, so orang akan tahu kita akan ada paper, so if they are interested, they look for our paper. Alright. Okay, I'll just go to the next slide. Keep on asking questions, yeah?
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning, Jun.
Doctor, like in the presentation, we have the introduction, we have the methodology, the framework, with the result and discussion.
Yeah.
What you might suggest for which part that we need to be focused more on?
Methodology and results. Why? Because methodology is when people want to copy your methodology. Okay, presentation is when you want to tell people how you do it and how you get the answers. Okay, so for me, methodology is important because then we will know whether how you do it is valid or not valid. Is it reliable? Reliable means I can actually copy what you do in my own classroom. So it has to be clear, and we want to actually know your results. After you actually done all the research that you've done in your classroom, apa you dapat? Adakah the outcome is good? Adakah outcome is not so good? So if it's not so good, how you want to actually make it better? So I think for me, these two parts are quite essential for you to actually concentrate on.
That's me, Doctor. We need more focus on the methodology part and the result. Also, maybe in the conclusion or in the discussion part, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, Jun, for the good question.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Cikgu Adibah daripada Melaka, Doktor.
Ya, Cikgu Adibah from Melaka.
Saya nak bertanya doktor, berkaitan tentang skala permakaran. Maksud saya menurut presentation lisan tu ada tak skala macam rate markah ataupun part-part mana perlu tekan?
Rubrik Okey. So rubrik ni saya rasa kena tanya geng-geng komiti. But usually that one I cannot answer lah, Cikgu Adibah. I think the committee will need to do it for me. Whether you have done a rubric for presentation or not. Sorry, Cikgu Adibah, tak boleh membantu.
Do we have Puan Nina here? Nina? Kak Nina ada ke?
Ya, ada. Kita ada guideline untuk presentation, tapi kita tak ada rubrik. So kita tak ada buat competition ke apa.
Yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that answers the question. You just follow the rubric. You just follow the guideline of what needs to be inside the presentation. But as I answered to Mr. Chun just now, to stress the certain things is where people will learn more. Because the other things tu memang yang you punya problem tu, maybe people can relate to that, but people want to know how you do it. So since tak ada pertandingan, so tak rubrik tu tak wujud lah. So just follow the guidelines. Okay? Okay, Marco is asking full paper tu berapa page nak buat? Tak boleh aplikasi ICSTEM ni. Okay, I'll answer the first one because I'm not sure how to answer the second part. Tak boleh aplikasi. Research memang tak boleh untuk ICSTEM ni. Ini I'm asking the committee. I'm not sure.
Ada je Excel research yang di presentkan Dr. Azhar.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Dr. Ezzy. So, jawapan untuk Mako, boleh aplikasi Action Research. And I think Action Research is very, very good untuk STEM lah sebenarnya because you know the whole circle kan, the whole cycle. Selalunya full paper ini must follow what the journal ask you. So kita kadang-kadang tak boleh khabar berapa page, tak boleh cakap berapa page sebab kadang-kadang dia nak 10,000, kadang-kadang ada yang nak 6,000 perkataan sahaja. So it really depends on the owner of the journal. Okay? And I'm not sure whether PASTEM akan hanya hantar satu journal atau a few journals. So it really depends on the journal. But you have to have all the important things within the research paper tu lah. You kena ada introduction, you kena ada a bit of literature, the background, and you kena ada methodology, and then you kena ada data analysis, findings, and then summary. All those are the basic things within a research paper. Okay. I'll just continue first and then we can ask some more questions later, okay? Okay, engaging presentation. What to expect? What must you do to make sure people are engaged with presentation? This is very, very important, okay? Why? Because if you are not engaging people in your presentation, might as well you don't present. Sebab orang tak nak, kita kalau orang tak nak dengar presentation kita kan, kita adalah salah seorang umat yang membuang masa. So make sure you actually engage your presentation. By one, you have to have eye contact. Since sekarang ni tak ada, dekat depan saya pun tak ada orang yang tengah melihat saya. Anak-anak pun sedang berkeliling rumah tengah buat gardening. So engaging is actually you have to look at the laptop camera. Certain cameras, they have lights. Dia ada lampu dekat sebelah kamera tu. So you know that your camera is functioning, you know where to watch. You just look at the light. If you don't have the light, just put a marker sticker dekat kamera tu or a face there. Just tampal that sticker on that next to the camera, and then you actually look at that sticker. So that eye contact is quite important. It's very important in engaging people. The next one is transition words. Transition words is the words you have used pasal firstly, secondly, I'm going to move on to the next slide, okay? As I said previously, you use all these transition words to show that you are moving from one point to another. Just now kita ada roadmap kan, awal-awal tadi roadmap awal, how you are going to move on to from one template to another. But this one, within one template, sometimes you have to actually tell people that you are moving on. Macam tadi yang ada orang keluar masuk internet line teruk kan. So people will know that, dah thirdly, mana secondly ya? Mesti I miss one point, especially people who likes making notes. So you need to actually help them with these transition words. Questions. When you ask questions while presenting, it actually helps people to be engaged. Rhetorical questions help means that you ask questions that you know the answer already. You will know, okay, for example, in an online learning classes, for people who have bad internet connections, we know that their attention span will be much lower, their understanding of a subject will be lower. You can actually guess how's their results. Takkan tiba-tiba dia macam dalam internet dia huru-hara, tiba-tiba dia dapat quizzes 100%, macam agak impossible. Hello, macam tu kan. So you, by asking rhetorical questions, by asking can you believe that, you actually draw back your people who are listening to you to actually get back to you, engage with them back again. Okay, using questions is good. The other one is short stories. Okay, short stories, orang suka dengar cerita. Okay, it's in research, people will actually listen to short stories. Not just kids, not just adults, but all ages. Semua akan suka dengar cerita. They love to listen to stories. I'm going to tell you a short story. So pun kan, macam pun. So it's ironic. So when I was in Al-Hidayah before this. That wasn't Al-Hidayah. I was in MRSM PDRM in Kulim. I was teaching there for 2 years before I go for my masters. This one teacher, she was teaching science, tapi dia pandai bercerita. Dia pandai bercerita tentang benda-benda sains, and how it relates to the real life and how it happens in the real world. Dan budak-budak senang nak faham. Lepas tu baru dia masukkan theoretical, the ideas, all these biology ideas and what happened. And I think budak-budak sangat mudah nak faham konsep yang sangat abstrak sekiranya kita hanya gunakan formula on the whiteboard. So I think short stories is really meaningful, as in, not just in all the arts subjects, but in science subjects too. It's important lah, you all kena cari good stories and relevant stories, okay? But you have to make sure you do not make something up. Jangan mereka-reka cerita, sebab people will know when you lie, okay? Sebab nanti kids, okay, when we tell story, people usually ask questions, and trust me, when I tell stories to my kids, they actually probe me questions, not just the formal teaching, the formal sharing, but on the stories itself. So kalau kita buat cerita kan tentang cerita tu, buat cerita tentang cerita tu, dan cerita tu menipu, kita tak boleh pusing. So apa sebab kita menipu kan? So try not to make up stories, okay? Just say things that you've read, things that you experienced, things that are pretty real, okay? Jangan buat benda mengapu, okay? In order to do this, before you present, try to practice several times, okay? Try to practice on certain slides a few times. Try to actually foresee the questions that might be asked by the audience. when you practice a lot, things will get more fluent, you'll get more comfortable with your own self presenting in front of the camera. You know when to use which word, the transition words, things like this. Just practice. Practice makes perfect, inshallah. All right. Okay. Video recording versus live presentation. Okay, I'm not sure whether you can use video recording. Nanti I'll tanya, but this is just for ilmu, okay? Video recording versus live presentation. So again, both need practice. Okay, both they need practice. So video, the thing is, the cool thing about video is that we can edit mistakes. Live, kita apa tu, terlajak perahu boleh diundur, terlajak kata, tak boleh buat apa kan. So kalau live tu, kalau tersalah cakap tu habis lah. But if it's the video, you can actually delete it and make up for it, okay? But you need to be a bit of tech savvy-ish. You have to be a bit fluent lah in technical thingy and video recording. But I think the technology now is better. You can use Canva, screencast, macam-macam boleh guna. Okay, as compared to live presentation means that you are doing like me. Maksudnya live presentation, I'm showing my slides, I cakap, that's live presentation. So the good thing is it's less time consuming because you are just doing it once. Macam ni, you tak payah record and re-record and editing things tak payah. So it's okay. The time is better. Okay, I'm just going to show you the layout of how. I'm just going to show you how to present. I record this earlier, so I'm just going to keep myself quiet. I'm using Canva. Canva, the free one. I don't buy it, so I'm using the free one. So I'm going to show you how you can actually present and record your video of your presentation using Canva. Okay, I'm going to show you step by step on doing it. Canva.com. And I'm going to show you how you can actually record your presentation via Canva. It's pretty easy and basic. First, you just go to the 3 dots here. And then choose present and record. And then go to recording studio. Okay. So this will pop out and you actually just angle yourself how you want to actually display yourself within the presentation slide later on. And you press start recording. It will be very, very easy if you have these notes that you have prepared earlier so that you can read. Also by having eye contact and looking at the camera as well. So from time to time, read and look at the camera, okay? So you go from slide to slide, record yourself, and in the end, you end the recording. Press end recording, and then is that. Okay, one lagi and then. Okay. If your recording is long, it'll upload a bit longer. If not, it won't take that long, just for I think around 3-4 minutes. It really depends on your internet connection as well. So let's see what happened. What we've recorded just now. Okay, so this is what we recorded. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So I've actually done it just now. I've recorded, and this is how it'll turn up, okay, using Canva. It will be very, very easy if you have these notes that you have prepared earlier so that you can read, also by having eye contact. So if you can see, the notes does not actually seen in the real recording, okay? And then you will be at the bottom left corner. Okay, so it won't actually be anywhere else. So it'll be just there. So I think it's quite easy and it's quite very direct.
And looking at the camera as well. So from time to time.
Thank you, Azhar. Bye, Azhar. Okay. Okay. So I think for me personally, I think even my kids are using this for their presentation because it's quite easy for them to do it. Okay. All right. The last part is Q&A session. As I said just now, Q&A session will actually be part of your presentation. Okay. Q&A session is quite important for me. I think it's actually a good feedback place for me to think about future research, my future direction. Also a revision for me. Sebab mungkin dalam bilik tu, in that room, there are other people who have done that research and they have done better ways. Okay. Please dalam presentation or wherever, don't be defensive. Jangan rasa you punya je paling bagus, paling tepat, paling hebat, paling terulung di dunia ini. Don't feel that. Okay. You have to actually be open to people's feedback in actually improving your own work. All right. I'm giving you a few templates on how to answer to buy time, okay? Sebab kadang-kadang kita punya processing CPU atas ni macam slow sikit kan? So macam kita, so you can say, could you please clarify the question, that bit that you asked? So just to actually buy you a bit of time. And there are a few there, but that you can actually use, okay, to answer questions. But again, don't make something up if you don't know the answer. Okay, macam you tak buat pun and you tahu you tak faham benda tu tapi you nak jawab juga, tak payah so if you don't know something, admit that you don't know the answer. Then you can say, thank you for the suggestion, I may want to look onto it for my future research. I thank you very much for the suggestion. Habis cerita. Jangan menipu, jangan tambah-tambah benda-benda yang tak payah tambah. Ajinomoto tidak diperlukan. Alright? Okay. Okay, I think that's it. It's a wrap. I allow a lot of questions that not just me, I think the committee of the ICSTEM can help me answer as well, especially on the formal bits of presentation. Yeah. So what we have hopefully learned is that I actually explained to you the objectives of presentation in conferences, what should be the components in the presentation, where to start, how to start, tips, a bit of tips. And I also showed you how to actually present and record yourself using Canva. And then why is Q&A session important? Okay, so thank you so much for your kind cooperation of asking questions, of concentration, of being here with me for an hour and a bit. Please do contact me. I like networking, especially with teachers, especially with other blooming researchers. That's my email, that's my phone number. Please WhatsApp me. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. I use that a lot for my my teaching and learning. Okay, thank you very much, Farah. I am giving the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Azhar, for a very good presentation. Okay, we have questions on the chat box daripada Siti Iwana. Doktor, boleh share slide and video ke?
Boleh saya? Apa dia? Sorry.
Okay, soalan daripada Siti Iwana, dia tanya boleh share slide ke? Video tu yes, kami akan share.
Oh, boleh je.
Okay,
nanti Cik nak share? Share kat sini lah kan, Azhar jawab hati tu tak bijak. Okay, I'll share dekat sini kejap. Boleh.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Doktor.
Salam.
Nak tanya boleh? Tadi Doktor cakap selain daripada kajian tindakan ataupun konsep paper, kalau saya buat review artikel boleh ke, Doktor?
Review artikel?
Untuk conference ni. Ke sebaiknya konsep paper?
Okay. Selalunya kalau systematic literature, systematic analysis kan, kalau meta analysis ni selalunya kalau you buat content analysis on how you are doing it, menarik juga. Maksudnya how you actually do the systematic literature analysis. Maksudnya adalah methodology you untuk content analysis tu. Maybe you guna Atlas TI atau you guna NVivo to come up with that analysis. Boleh juga guna. So for me, it's the way on how you tell people why your analysis of paper reviews tu important. Kenapa you nak buat paper review? Macam tu.
Okay, so bolehlah. Terima kasih Doktor.
Sama-sama saja.
Okay, one question from me. Okay, Dr. Azhar. Okay, tadi Dr. Azhar ada mention pasal short stories. Okay, to make the presentation more interesting. Okay, alright. Let's say I do not have any relevant stories, but I do find a short comic that from online from Google that I think is relevant to the presentation. So does it make my presentation unprofessional kalau saya letak komik macam tu?
No, no, it doesn't, Farah. One, you have to actually first you have to acknowledge the comic tu lah mana you dapat. But you have to actually then explain why the comic is relevant to your research. It doesn't make you less professional in doing so.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you, Farah, for the question.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, yes, continue.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Saya Salmia. Saya lebih nak tanya kepada organizer. Okey, saya nak dapatkan sedikit pencerahan lah, takut saya punya pemahaman salah. Okey, kita ada dua mode presentation sekarang. Yang pertama poster presentation. Yang kedua oral presentation tu based on artikel yang kita dah publish or kita will publish. Maksudnya selected by UMT ke macam mana tu? Hello.
Puan Salbia ya?
Saya nak tanya satu poster presentation. Yang kedua oral presentation based on kita punya artikel. Jadi artikel yang kita akan publish and then yang akan ditentukan oleh UMT ke macam mana tu?
Betul. So maksudnya sekarang ni saya jawab saya Razifah. So saya nak jawab maksudnya nanti kita akan ada dua mood presentation, satu poster dan juga satu oral. So kedua-dua method tu maksudnya kita kedua-dua presentation tu dapat dipublish. Maksudnya apa yang abstract yang dihantar, so abstract tu boleh dibuat extended paper ataupun journal. So nanti boleh dipublish ke dalam jurnal-jurnal pilihan yang kita ada letak dekat website tu. So nanti so macam itulah. So kalau ada peserta-peserta yang masih kurang jelas mengenai nak publish paper yang ada ASM ke apa tu, boleh PM saya dekat nombor saya dekat chatbot. Dan juga kalau kata ada masalah lagi, sebab kita akan ada satu lagi siri untuk penulisan artikel. So kita akan bagi beberapa contoh artikel yang untuk dipublish. Maksudnya kalau kita pakai ASM, bagaimana method dia untuk kita publish semua tu, kita akan ada satu lagi siri selepas ni. So siri yang pertama, siri yang kita buat bersama Dr. Azhar ni lebih kepada bagaimana apa yang untuk terutamanya untuk peserta yang present secara oral tu, apa yang diorang perlu present. So itu saya rasa kita punya objektif pada pagi ni langsung mengenai publication. So akan ada lagi satu siri. Mungkin ramai lagi yang kurang jelas mengenai publication.
Okey, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, Dr. Razifah. I think one question for the organizer. Kalau poster presentation kena present juga ke? Yes kan?
Yes, dia ada sesi Q&A juga untuk dalam slot poster tu. Sebab nanti orang tengok poster, orang akan mungkin ada beberapa soalan yang orang akan tanya mengenai poster tu juga. Okay, tu je kot Farah yang daripada saya boleh jawab.
Alright. Okay, while waiting for the other question, ada pesanan ni penaja gitu. Okay, so for the participant, kindly help us to identify by your preferred mode of presentation. Okay, dekat chat box ada dua link. Satu link untuk mode of presentation dan lagi satu link adalah link kehadiran. So kalau boleh isi dua-dua. Okay, yang mode of presentation bagi yang dah isi tak perlu isi. Bagi yang belum isi, you can fill in the form.
Hi, sorry. I asked question before, but then I got lost. Okay, sorry. For the mode of presentation, so my name is Nina. So for the mode of presentation, is it it depends on the type of paper ke? It's up to me whether to choose whether oral or poster presentation. Thank you.
Okay, it's up to the participant lah. Dia nak choose yang mana. Sama ada nak oral ataupun poster. Tapi kalau yang tajaan daripada
Oh, tapi tajaan daripada?
Tajaan daripada yang KPM tu memang dia menaja oral presentation kan. Sama ada oral tu sama ada face to face ataupun non face to face. Tapi since kita dah tukar kita punya conference ni kepada 100% virtual, so semua akan pilih sepatutnya akan pilih virtual secara online lah. Oral lah secara online.
So kalau oral ni, kalau I recorded my video presenting, so I just present, then I'm gonna be live for the Q&A questions sajalah kan?
Ya betul. Maksudnya record siap-siap video tu. Lepas tu masa sesi tu hanya kita organizer akan pasangkan video ataupun owner boleh participant pasangkan sendiri. Okay, cukup 12 minit, so kita akan stop untuk bagi ruang untuk Q&A. Ada lagi soalan?
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Assalamualaikum. Saya cuma nak buat confirmation saja berkaitan dengan tajaan daripada KPM. Hello?
Betul. Teruskan Puan.
Daripada KPM tu memang kena ambil mode presentation ke ataupun kita diberi peluang juga untuk buat mode poster?
Saya difahamkan mesti presentation, mesti oral. Boleh ada siapa yang boleh confirmkan? Sekejap
Dua-dua boleh sebenarnya, tapi KPM tu memang dia prefer untuk oral lah, tapi kita terima dua-dua. Sebab masa isi masa you register you dah pilih kan untuk oral atau poster kan. So kita ikut yang tu lah, cuma kita sekarang tukar daripada face to face kepada virtual je semua.
Dr. Azhar, Assalamualaikum. Saya Idayu, saya nak tanya untuk presentation ni saya memilih untuk membentangkan kertas konsep. Jadi saya ada juga masukkan rujukan daripada dapatan daripada bacaan-bacaan artikel dan jurnal sebelum ni. Jadi saya perlu bentang ke macam hasil dapatan bacaan saya tu? Terima kasih Doktor.
Sama, so terima kasih Nur Yayu ya. So sekiranya dapatan daripada sebelum ini adalah is going to be part of your literature review. Mungkin ia membantu untuk memperkuatkan atau ia akan bantu untuk beri research gap. Kenapa research ni perlu dibuat di sekolah ataupun di tempat Puan Idayu. Ia boleh dimasukkan dan ia pada saya tak ada masalah untuk dimasukkan, cuma mungkin tak payah dibentangkan satu-satulah sehingga benda tu yang jadi dominan. So pada saya patutlah dibentangkan untuk menceritakan research gap for your study.
Thank you Doktor.
Hello, selamat pagi.
Pagi.
Soalan saya kepada urus dia, pihak penganjur UMT. Jadi sekiranya paper ini dibuat dalam secara kumpulan, contohnya bertiga, adakah salah seorang daripada penulis dalam paper boleh membentangkan paper tersebut?
Ya boleh. Maksudnya untuk satu paper tu ataupun satu abstract tu mungkin ada 4 nama, tapi wakilkan kepada seorang je untuk membentangkan apa dalam tu, dalam presentation.
Baik, terima kasih.
Okay, saya jawab mengenai dekat chatbox tu ada tanya mengenai pembentangan poster. So saya ingin jelaskan dekat sini untuk pembentangan poster tu akan dipaparkan dekat lobby. Kita tak pasti, mungkin dekat masa hari berkenaan kita akan buat sesi macam ni, maksudnya dalam Webex. Tapi kalau tuan-puan tengok dekat bahagian atas atas tu dia ada breakout session. So hari hari kejadian, insyaAllah apa yang kami lancarkan kami akan bagikan ikut session, dan mungkin poster tu akan dipaparkan dekat lobby yang semua orang boleh tengok. Dan apabila semua orang boleh tengok, sekiranya ada soalan-soalan daripada peserta, so semasa tu pemilik poster tu akan jawab lah soalan-soalan berkaitan tu. Dia tak akan ada memang contohnya poster 1 presentation pukul 1 hingga 1 suku. Tak ada macam tu. Tapi akan ada soal jawab sekiranya berkaitan lah. Okay, so bagaimana cara untuk kami buat pembentangan tu kami akan bagi tahu daripada semasa ke semasa. Okay, itu satu mengenai poster. Yang kedua, dekat mana nak dapatkan konten poster tu. So apa yang perlu ada dalam poster tu ada dalam website. So kita ada bagi template. So benda-benda tu perlu ada di dalam poster tu, tapi susunan tu adalah mengikut kreativiti peserta tu sendirilah. Okay, so itu adalah mengenai poster. Okey, untuk rekod pembentangan dalam bahasa Melayu, kami penganjur mengharapkan sekiranya boleh rekod dalam bahasa Inggeris lah, sebab kita adalah international conference dan kita juga ada partisipan daripada luar. So kita takut partisipan tu Q&A mungkin kita benarkan dalam bahasa Melayu, tapi seboleh-bolehnya recorded video ni kita buat teks siap-siap, kita baca lah kot cikgu-cikgu. Okay, sebab kita takut ada kita punya peserta-peserta lain tak faham apa yang kita nak sampaikan. Kita cubalah cikgu, kita cuba. Okay, itu saja kot daripada saya. Nak tanya saiz poster. Okay, saiz poster memandangkan kita buat conference ni secara virtual, so saiz poster kita tak ada saiz A3 ke apa, tapi mengikut format yang dalam website tu kita dah nyatakan konten-konten tu. So nanti format-format poster tu akan dipaparkan secara online. Kita tak akan print. Okey, tapi siapa yang hantar poster juga boleh dihantar dipublishkan, sebab ada yang mungkin kata hantar poster tak boleh publish, boleh sekiranya hantar full paper kepada pihak kami. Okay, tapi poster tu tak akan di ISBN kan. Ada tadi yang tanya poster tu akan di ISBN kan ke? Kami tak akan buat ISBN untuk poster, tapi kami akan buat sekiranya partisipan tu hantar maklumat full paper kepada kami.
Assalamualaikum, boleh saya tanya?
Assalamualaikum.
Puan.
Saya Zulafida Abdullah. Saya ada hantar.
Tak ada stick ataupun tak link tangan.
Dengar tak?
Dengar.
Okey, soalan saya nak buat pembentangan untuk modul. Okey, modul kajian saya. Adakah saya perlu tunjuk modul tu ataupun any flip ke? Macam mana?
Dr. Azhar ni mungkin berkaitan dengan Dr. Azhar juga, dia buat modul, so perlu tunjuk modul tu ke macam mana Dr. Azhar? Untuk pembentangan.
Nak ambil tahu dah.
Maksudnya okey, lagi sekali tak boleh tak ulang
tu kena.
Ulang soalan. Perlu present modul?
Saya buat modul kan? Okey. Adakah saya tunjuk sepintas lalu ke, tunjuk any flip sepintas lalu ke, macam mana?
Okey, pada saya yang paling mudah ialah tunjuk muka depan dengan tunjuk konten. Table of content.
Tak semualah kan?
Tak perlu semua lah. Mungkin kalau orang nak tengok nanti bila ada Q&A, dia mungkin nak tengok contoh dalam beberapa tajuk yang cikgu present tadi. So kemungkinan buka page tu ke?
Okey, maksudnya kita akan buka, sedia teruslah any flip ke apa.
Ya, bersedia.
Okey, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Dr. Azhar, ada satu soalan yang sekiranya menariklah di chat box. Soalan daripada Cikgu Malia, apa yang perlu ada dalam poster?
Okay. Tu saya rasa poster ni is a bit macam mana nak cakap interesting kerana you can put a lot of things. Okay, a lot of things in the sense that one, first you kena ikut guideline. Guideline minta apa, you kena ada semua benda dalam guideline tu. Pada saya A1 size you all untuk poster. Kalau A1 dalam PowerPoint tu banyak boleh isi. Sebab you akan guna satu PowerPoint slide sahaja dan you masukkan a few things. Susah cakap kan, saya cari dulu. Saya cari dulu supaya senang nak memahamkan. Saya akan cari salah satu contoh poster saya. Tak ada. Sementara itu ada soalan lain tak? Saya akan sebelum saya cari dulu, nanti saya cuba cari sambil saya jawab benda lain dulu sambil mencari.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Okey, saya Hafizah. Saya nak tanya doktor, macam tadi doktor bagi tahu kalau mana-mana cikgu yang buat kajian tindakan, kita lebih fokus kepada metodologi bila kita nak present kan. Tapi kalau kita buat perkongsian amalan terbaik, bahagian mana yang kita perlu tekankan?
Okey. Untuk best practices, untuk perkongsian amalan terbaik, satu ialah kita kena okey, dalam yang cikgu punya tu ada berapa banyak amalan terbaik yang dikongsikan? Satu ke dua? Ke lebih daripada tu?
Satu saja.
Satu saja.
Ya.
Benda tu adakah ia menambah baik kepada amalan sebelum ini?
Ya, betul.
Betul. Okey. So, highlight kepada findings tu lah. Findings tu ialah amalan terbaik itulah. Amalan terbaik itself yang terkini itu. Dan highlight macam mana benda amalan terbaik itu membantu untuk menjawab persoalan kajian awal tadi, isu yang awal tadi. So that will be amalan terbaik itu will be your methodology lah, you punya method bagaimana you mengatasinya.
Okey, terima kasih.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen ya. My screen ini adalah apa ni yang salah satu poster yang saya buat. Poster untuk yang saya baru ni menang, yang termenang award. So this is I'm using PowerPoint, hanya guna satu page je. Satu page. Cuma dalam hal ni, ini adalah A1. A1, kalau size A1, selalunya ialah 594 mm kali 841. So sebab saya nak dalam bentuk apa namanya? Lupa dah panggil dia bentuk apa ni. Bukan horizontal, dia adalah term dia lah. Tak ingatlah term dia apa, tiba-tiba macam lupa term dia tu.
Portrait.
Thank you so much, portrait. Tiba-tiba kan dia hilang dari ingatan. So dalam portrait. So you have to actually change the layout of this. So ini semua ni saya tambah masing-masing. So saya cut and paste. So saya buat ni ada sikit kat Canva. Saya ambil, saya ada buat ambil a few dekat Word. Lepas tu saya cut and paste. Kalau bukan ni benda ni boleh lari-lagi sebenarnya. So bila saya cut and paste dan saya masukkan di dalam poster. So apa yang perlu dalam ada poster? Poster pada saya perlu infographic. Okay, infographic in the sense that don't put too much words, but you actually fulfill the needs of the guideline. Dia nak apa? Dia nak problem. Saya dah letak semua problem. Inilah problem yang diletakkan. So kalau orang nak baca, oh ada problem, hanya 92% je yang ada. So ada problem. So this is my methodology. Apa yang saya gunakan dan apakah apa cara best my practice lah. Practice saya untuk mengatasi masalah ini. Dan kemudian kenapa saya guna benda tu? So and then this is the result and this is actual framework yang saya hasilkan dan ini adalah 80% lah increment of knowledge. So this actually part of the grant from Kerajaan Negeri Terengganu, YB Wanita Terengganu. So it's actually the same thing as what you can actually put within your slides. Tapi sekarang ni you compress semua dalam slide tu dalam satu slide. Dalam satu je PowerPoint slide ni, saya guna PowerPoint ya. Satu je PowerPoint slide, tetapi kena dicantikkan persembahan itu dengan menggunakan infografik. Okey? Saya harap saya menjawab soalan lah kepada soalan yang tadi tu. Okey, ada soalan-soalan lain?
Assalamualaikum Doktor.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Saya Rosnizam. Saya nak tanya tentang kalau kertas terpilih ke penerbitan di jurnal USM tu. Kalau let's say terpilih, peserta sendiri kena contact dengan jurnal tu, kena email editor dia macam mana ke, ataupun organizer yang akan tolong linkkan antara peserta dengan jurnal tersebut, atau macam mana?
Selalunya
Okey,
kalau sorry.
Okey, berkaitan dengan jurnal. Okey, berkaitan dengan disaster. Okey, berkaitan dengan jurnal tu, dalam kita ada 3 pilihan untuk penerbitan. Satu adalah MJE, Malaysian Journal of Education, dan yang kedua adalah ASM. So untuk ASM tu saya ada tulis dekat situ, maksudnya organizer hanya bantu untuk check konten dan juga maksudnya kita hanya bantu partisipan untuk pastikan jurnal tu adalah sesuai untuk diterbitkan dekat ASM. Tapi untuk proses hantar ke jurnal semua tu, peserta tu perlu buat sendiri. Sebab ASM tidak galakkan pilihan orang ketiga lah untuk hantar ke dia. Tapi untuk yang jurnal yang satu lagi tu, untuk Malaysian Journal of Education, so jurnal tu adalah jurnal index dalam my site. Dan untuk jurnal tu, organizer akan buat sepenuhnya. Peserta hanya hantar sahaja kepada kami dan kami akan uruskan. So saya harap menjawab persoalan dekat situ lah.
Macam ni Doktor, sebabnya saya ni sebenarnya kira ni 2-in-1 lah kan, sebab kalau sebab one of requirement untuk saya punya PhD adalah kena publish dalam Scopus. Saya nampak jurnal USM tu Scopus lah. That's why yang saya tanya, kan, maksudnya ni kalau dia tak ada isu lah, maksudnya hantar ke sini dan hantar ke sana tak ada isu lah, maksudnya kita
tak ada isu.
Oh, jadi boleh lah. Okey.
Boleh.
Maksudnya lepas dah nanti bentang di sini nanti, saya boleh email saja untuk ke jurnal tersebut lah, paper tersebut.
Betul.
Macam tu
Ya betul. Boleh.
Okey. Terima
Okey,
kasih.
Lagi persoalan?
Ada lagi persoalan ke?
Mungkin dah banyak soalan mengenai penerbitan. Untuk penerbitan kita akan ada lagi satu sesi selepas ni bersama jemputan kita yang akan bercerita mengenai keperluan untuk full paper tu. So nanti harap soalan-soalan tu boleh kumpul dan boleh tanya masa sesi tersebutlah. Kita akan buat dalam jangka masa 2 minggu lagi insyaAllah.
Okey, soalan dekat chat, template poster dalam website kena ikut ke atau boleh buat format sendiri? Template tu kami hanya bagi sebagai guidance sahaja. So yes, boleh buat ikut format sendiri.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Saya cuma nak pastikan semula. Sebab saya daftar untuk conference, kalau tak salah saya dalam bulan Jun macam tu. Agak dah lama. Masa tu memang tak ada pilihan untuk poster presentation ataupun oral. Masa tu cuma ada pilihan oral face to face ataupun oral virtual. Jadi saya dah mohon penajaan dengan KPM untuk oral presentation lah. Tapi kemudiannya baru kami dapat option sama ada nak present by poster ataupun oral presentation. Jadi macam mana tu status penajaan tu? Boleh tak kami pilih poster atau kami mesti stick dengan oral presentation? Sebab option ni datang kemudian lah kalau tak salah saya. Sebab masa registration memang tak ada option ni.
Untuk poster atau oral tu dia sama saja bayaran dia. Jadi puan boleh pilih sama ada poster atau oral. Untuk bahagian tajaan lah.
Okey.
Okey. Sama.
Kalau tak ada dah boleh penutup kot Farah.
Okay, alright. So saya kira tiada lagi soalan yang akan dikemukakan. Terima kasih kepada panel kita hari ini Dr. Azhar. Dan terima kasih juga kepada para hadirin yang sama-sama daripada pukul 10 tadi sampai 11.40 dah sekarang. Tanya soalan semua, terima kasih saya ucapkan. So semoga kita jumpa lagi dalam sesi seterusnya macam Dr. Razifah bagi tahu tadi dalam masa 2 minggu dari sekarang. Then I will say Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Semoga kita jumpa lagi. Okay, before